rewards program that we put out that's a benefit for everybody to use. Anybody not aware of it? Has any stories? I'm hearing TurboTax. Any stories on anybody who saved anything?
The birthday?
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh,
I was looking at a truck that I got
So is
but the savings are significant.
it a thumbs up so far?
Oh.
Thumbs up.
I've also ordered flowers.
I didn't get them yet.
Anybody, so Water is having technical difficulties, they've already emailed me, but anybody outside the New Haven room been using the rewards and any stories so far?
Just in case everybody wants to know, Ray left. I don't know. Ray left.
Anybody got any stories?
Any stories about the rewards program? You guys aware of the rewards program that's out there? We can save some money for our teammates?
Sprint.
Sprint?
Yeah.
Movies.
Where can you find that information, Mark?
It's in iSolve under, I don't know, where is it? Messages.
Yeah, just under important company messages, click on that link on your home page and then scroll down and the information's down at the bottom under benefits. It's called Vendor Perk Spot.
No, you have to look for it.
No, they don't have
Well, you should be getting something every day.
Let's send an email to everybody with a picture of where it is on iSolve.
Okay, artichoke.
Yeah, we got it.
All right, let's start. Okay, go ahead.
Where, he's sitting there now.
I'll look into it. Outside of the New Haven room, any purpose citations stand out? Peter, you want to start us?
All right, I've got 3 actually, all for the same thing. I got one for Alyssa, one for Barbara, both out of New Haven, and one for Tina Wilson out of Hartford. We had a new teammate start down here that they all helped with the onboarding process to set them up for success. I just wanted to thank them for their time, and I think their hard work will pay off. So we got a good new teammate, Shanice, down here in office.
That's great.
You had a couple? Yeah, go ahead. That's you.
Are we all off?
Or I'm mute.
No, good.
We hear you.
You're good.
All right. This is for Susan. Thank you for helping get the Kohler training set up during technical difficulties the other night. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else outside the New Haven room? New Haven room, anybody got any? We're good? Awesome. All right, so we'll refocus on purpose citations. I don't have any here, so maybe it was not one of our best weeks. Next week we'll really try to ramp them up. Look for that good behavior. Yes, let's do introductions. I think we have a few new people. Why don't whoever brought them in, why don't you guys introduce?
We have Jenny joining us from the showroom. She is one of our receptionists.
I have Buffy in here from the call center.
We have John Balsamo, who is our newest member of New Haven Counter.
Anybody outside of New Haven, everybody sitting in? All right, so last week we talked about stepping out of your comfort zone, and we broke up into groups, and we tried to find things that are not in our comfort zone, and then ways for people to help us challenge us to go out of our comfort zone. Any stories? Anybody want to share any stories? Who has something that they did that was out of their comfort zone this week? Good, bad, or ugly? Anyone? The silence. Go ahead, Lisa.
So we talked in our group about the conflict of coming home after working all day and spouse or significant others left a mess and not knowing how to deal with facing conflict and not wanting to face conflict. And my issue was that my fiance is a slob and leaves everything all over the place. And I spent the entire day yesterday on my day off cleaning our house while he was sleeping. And last night we had a very polite conversation where I kind of just threw up the white flag and said, I'm working very hard and we have this beautiful house and right now I feel like I'm the only one doing it, so I need help. So that was out of my comfort zone because I'm not one who typically asks for help.
You go, girl.
Any other stories anyone wants to share?
Yeah, I have one. So I was at the Forte Buying Group conference, Monday through Thursday. And, meeting with existing vendors and new vendors, and all the manufacturers want growth. Everyone wants to grow. And, we have some lines that currently we have exclusives for, and we have to step our game up to maintain those exclusives. And my initial reaction is to almost get aggressive and get angry and threaten we're going to take away business if you don't do what we want, right? But kind of just pausing and seeing things from the manufacturer's perspective. It's really challenging, to not act as bullish, if you will. But it was ultimately beneficial, It helps grow the partnership, and it helped me work on personal development, kind of functioning as more of a collaborative with the manufacturer. So it was challenging yet positive.
Awesome. Stepping out of your comfort zone. I see Waterbury joined us. Do you guys have any purpose citations that you guys need handed out? Backed out? Are we good today?
In the meeting then.
Okay, call me back, reference, Zurich.
Can you hear them? No?
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
It's Sherry. Our thing in Waterbury is not working. Hi, we're on our phone. I have one for Jen Baylash. She stepped outside of her comfort zone and she did something she normally doesn't do. She posted some of her designs on her LinkedIn page, and that's normally, she's not that type of person, and she did, and it was awesome. So kudos to her.
So, any others there in Waterbury need to be handed out? We're good? So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch a video from Daniel Pink, and it has to do with, what he calls a one sentence exercise, and then we're not gonna finalize it today, because there's no way you can do that in 5 or 10 minutes, but we're gonna just get the thought process going. So, let's shoot over to the video from Daniel Pink. I think this will be exciting.
This is an idea that comes from a famous story in politics, a very famous story. It might even be true. In the early 1960s, Claire Booth Lewis, who was one of the first women to serve in the U.S. Congress, supposedly came into a very young President Kennedy and said, "Mr. President, you don't understand something significant about leadership. You don't understand," she said, "that a great man is a sentence." Kennedy, what does that mean? She said, anybody who's ever, update it, great person is a sentence. Anybody who's ever achieved anything in their lives isn't trying to do 97 different things, but is trying to do 1 or 2 big transcendent things. So she said Abraham Lincoln had a sentence. He preserved the Union and freed the slaves. FDR had a sentence. He lifted us out of a Great Depression and helped us win a world war. She said, Mr. President, you don't have a sentence, you have a muddled paragraph. You're trying to do 17 things, and as a result, you're not doing anything. And I think it's a very instructive tale for leaders of every kind, whether you're leading a school, whether you're coaching a team, whether you're leading a company. And it's a good exercise, I think, for individuals to find their purpose. So I ask people, describe your sentence. What's your sentence? When it's all said and done, what's it about? And what we've done on my website is had people contribute their sentences, both on video and in written form. And people really gravitate to this, that they're searching for a sense of purpose. They want to have a sense of what their lives are about, and they want to share it with other people. And so we've gotten, by asking, we did a video where we compiled people's sentences from around the world. We had 4 continents and a little kid from Tasmania and in Australia, and people from all over the world offering up their sentences, and it's in its own way kind of inspiring. But I think more important, it's a great exercise for people because it gives them a kind of North Star of purpose. It allows them to figure out, okay, what's it all about? And as painful as it can be for some people to push through that, I think ultimately it's helpful. Now, to my surprise, this what's your sentence exercise, some schools, classrooms started doing it. So I get, periodically these emails of a class and the bulletin board says, everybody's sentence. And it's really cool. And what's interesting is that these kids, their sentences are tend to be, a large number of them tend to be very purpose-centered. That is, they want to leave an imprint on the world. They see themselves as effective actors who can influence the world. So, I want to, so even, seventh graders will say, he found a cure for, an illness that killed his grandfather, or she made life easier for poor kids, or, all these kinds of things that end up being very, very, very purpose-driven. And you get a sense like, my gosh, once again, we've sold these kids short. That is, they're actually thinking these things. They want to contribute to the world. And this is a way to let that out and begin, I think, a very rich conversation about it. Well, I think that the Meaningful Connections Project and the work the Patterson Foundation is doing can be very helpful in assisting kids in finding their sense. That is, the way you discover who you are as a person is to have a rich set of experiences. And so I think a kid who doesn't go to art museums, say, very often, might go to an art museum and say, oh my gosh, I suddenly have a better sense of who I am by seeing that painting or that sculpture. Or I've always liked art and I've always liked to draw. My God, I can actually have a painting in a museum. That's amazing. Or a kid who's a musician seeing a performance and seeing that people, that actually if you work really hard at the clarinet or the trombone or the violin, that you can be an incredibly accomplished musician and make that kind of contribution to the world. And I think that the more kids can see themselves in context, the more they can see themselves outside of school in the real world, the more I think it sharpens and clarifies their sentence. And so these meaningful connections to the rest of the community, I think, can be powerful in helping have this conversation with young people about what their sentence is and really helping surface what their sentences are.
So I thought the next step would be to try to run through this so you guys can see what maybe it could look like. And I'll do my best, but I'm asking for a volunteer in the meeting room to do this with me. So I need one volunteer. Anyone, come on. Anyone else? Shelley always goes? Not Shelley? All right, come on, Shelley. Grab chairs.
Oh, sorry, I moved this.
That's all right. So when we break into groups, we're not looking to make this perfect. We're looking to start to get the thought process going. So it might look something like this. Shelley, what's your sentence?
Not sure yet.
Something that you've done in your life that you're really, really proud of.
I've raised two really good boys.
Tell me about that a little bit. What are you proud of?
They are respectful. They don't expect things to be handed to them. My oldest is very accomplished and self-driven. They're well-mannered.
Tell me at work, the department that you run, what are you proud of?
I can rely on them to do what's expected without me being there, not to worry about them. They're gonna get the job done.
So would you say, I hope everybody sees the common denominator in their whole life and their work life. Would you say the beginning sentence for you for purpose might be something like, I bring clarity to people so that they can meet the expectations and succeed in life? Bam! Yeah, you're gone. That wasn't bad, right? So we're gonna break into groups and work with, you need help with this. Work with the other person, work with them to try to find their purpose. Because I think if you find your purpose in life, you'll live a more fulfilled life. So this is just the start. Don't expect to get your purpose today, but start to think about what your purpose is. Just break into groups. We'll go for 10 minutes, 9:25, we'll recollect, and we'll just talk about how everybody did. All right. Let's my phone. So let's anybody want to talk about their conversation or how they felt today? And obviously, the goal wasn't to find a purpose. The goal is to start to think about living a fulfilled life and finding out what you're really good at organically that others know that you may not be aware of, you may be aware, but really uplifting that and elevating that. So anybody want to talk about conversations they had or aha moments? Anyone? There's got to be some aha moments. I heard some really good conversation.
I'll talk.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I was sharing with AJ, and when I was crying a little bit because this is hard. It is. You're emotional. You're bearing yourself. These are difficult situations to be put in. Talk about going past your comfort zone. I don't think AJ wants to cry in front of me, but I'm making him. So I asked him what he was most proud of, and he said he's proud that he's a good husband. He's a good father. I'm gonna cry. And so we broke that down a little bit. What does that mean? He's like, I'm present. So he's present in his relationships. And then he said, you know what? I know when to give and I know when to get support, right? So both of those things translate into the department that AJ is building with his team. So I don't know how necessarily to tease that out into a sentence, but those are the consistencies that were coming out in our conversation. And he was saying it in many, many different ways. So you just have to look for the pattern. He knows when to give and get support, and he's present.
Awesome.
So that's.
Let's go one more. Let's get one more aha story. Come on. Somebody outside of New Haven? We got an aha story. I know we do. I'm trying for outside New Haven first. We're gonna give it 10 seconds before we go back to New Haven. Let's try. I see Harper almost there. We're gonna push them. Come on, we got an aha in Harper. I see it. Christina, we're gonna talk about that.
We had like a really great conversation of just trying to Susan was saying about like digging in. So I just asked what do you want to bring? Christina was like, I want to bring peace and just kind of be mellow and try to include everybody. And so she even invited me. She said that was out of her comfort zone, and this is out of my comfort zone. I came, and she got me here. So that her working on trying to be more inclusive. So far it's worked. So.
Actually, this is kind of something very out of my comfort zone. Actually, this past weekend, I went on a men's retreat, and it was very interesting and uplifting, kind of finding out a little bit more about myself and digging in. And a couple of things actually came out of that, like my kind of purpose. It goes for family and for work is kind of for me to guide, provide, and comfort. And it just opened up my eyes to a lot of different things that I didn't really know about myself. And dug in really, really, really deep. 27 hours. Pretty intense and pretty interesting.
See, we're only asking for 30 minutes a week here, so.
I think this was really daunting to do in 10 minutes, so I think next week we'll break into similar groups and we'll kind of go off of this and continue this conversation. Well, Matt, you want to close this out today?
Awesome. As always, awesome exercise, Mark, kind of helping all of us push the boundaries. So it was a great exercise. Nice to see everyone and have a wonderful weekend.